Hello everyone, welcome to Court with Krissy. If this is your father or grandfather, for the love of God, take his iPhone away. Give this man a flip phone. I know we always talk about taking the keys away from the elderly. It's the smartphones we need to be worried about. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
State of Michigan versus David Heinitz, file 25-43564-SM.
Good morning, Your Honor. Elliot Blumberg on behalf of Mr. Heinitz, who is appearing via Zoom from my office. I will make him visible to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Good morning, Mr. Blumberg.
Morning.
Do we have a resolution of this matter?
We do, Judge. Currently, my client is charged with indecent exposure. That will be dismissed. There will be an added plea to disorderly person pursuant to 750.167.
I believe that's a 90-day, $500 fine misdemeanor.
Yes. Correct.
All right. Mr. Fortier, is that an accurate statement of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Heinitz, there are certain rights that you have right now that if you enter a plea, you'd be giving up. So I want to make sure I explain those to you so you can make an informed decision. If you plead today, you would be giving up what are known as your trial rights. So at trial, you would have the right to have a trial by a judge or by a jury. You'd have the right to see, hear, and question all the witnesses against you. You'd have the right to have witnesses appear and testify on your behalf and get an order from the court called a subpoena to require those witnesses to appear and testify. At trial, you could also testify or you could remain silent. And if you chose to remain silent, that silence could not be used against you because you have an absolute right against self-incrimination. You'd also have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt and to have that burden of proof be on the prosecutor at all times. At your trial, Mr. Blumberg or another attorney could represent you and argue your case for you, give you legal advice, and make closing arguments or statements to the court. At trial, you'd also have the right to appeal automatically. However, if you have a plea, you'd be limited to asking for permission to appeal. Do you understand all of those rights that you would have?
You need to speak up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, sir, I don't.
All right, have you had an adequate opportunity to discuss all of this with your attorney?
Yes, I have.
All right. Knowing all of that, do you still wish to enter a plea today?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to swear you in, so can I have you raise your right hand, please? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Judge, would you mind if I asked him the questions to establish a factual basis?
I would be pleased to allow you to do that. Go ahead, Mr. Blumberg.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Heinitz, were you in Otsego County on January 11th of 2025?
Yes, sir.
And you were at a tanning salon, is that correct, here in Gaylord?
Yes, sir.
And during the time that you were in there, you had a conversation with the receptionist, is that correct?
Yes, I did. Yes.
And during that conversation, there was a discussion about beaches and nude beaches out in another location, is that correct?
Correct.
And is it true that you displayed a picture of yourself to the receptionist without any clothing on, is that right?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, thank you. Judge, I think that satisfies the factual basis for the charge.
Mr. Fortier, do you have any additional questions that you want to ask as to that?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right. It does appear to me that the questions asked do establish a factual basis for a disorderly person, obscene conduct under the statute. He's admitted the time, date, and place, and the exhibition of himself in a nude condition. I believe that satisfies the statutory requirements. I also find that he's given us a plea knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily, and I will accept that plea at this time. Mr. Blumberg, do you wish to proceed directly to sentencing?
You would, Judge, if you would indulge us. I think that would be appropriate at this time.
All right. Mr. Fortier, is there any witness, or excuse me, any victim or any restitution requests of any kind?
No restitution requests, and there are no victims present. I'm actually not entirely sure that either one of these, either the original charge or the charge that you just pled to, are actually considered victim crimes under the statute. So I would be okay with moving forward. I think our office has had enough opportunity to consult with the individual. So,
All right. Any allocution then that you would have?
Your Honor, I just, based on his conduct that day, he placed this woman in a very uncomfortable situation at her workplace. I think it would be appropriate for some court oversight for probation, even if for the fact that it's just to make sure that he doesn't return to the tanning salon for a certain length of time, and specifically not to, approach this woman again. It's just, can't even imagine how awkward it would have been to be at work and have someone show them, a picture exposing their penis to you. Would be, very uncomfortable situation for her. So at this point, that's what we would ask for. It's just that short term of probation to make sure he doesn't go back to that tanning salon.
All right, Mr. Blumberg, allocution.
Your Honor, Mr. Heinz is a 77-year-old Navy veteran who has no recent criminal history at all. He would be the first person to acknowledge that his behavior was inappropriate. He certainly didn't at the time think that what he was doing was criminal, but he recognizes how inappropriate it was. I really don't think, given his station in life, a period of probation is really necessary here. You'll hear from him in a moment. I'm sure you'll give him the opportunity to do so about how embarrassed he is about his behavior. We believe that just fines and costs, and certainly he can represent to the court that he will not return to that salon, and certainly give his assurances that this behavior will not ever come back before the court again. So we believe that fines and costs really would be an appropriate resolution to this matter. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Heinitz, you certainly are going to be given an opportunity to address me if you wish. You do not have to if you don't want to, but I would certainly listen to whatever information you want me to hear. So this is your opportunity, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, we were talking, I don't know how it ever started. Well, it started about tattoos, I guess. She had some tattoos and I had some tattoos, and we were talking. And somehow we got talking about tattoos, and where some places where you get them where you don't normally have people can see them or whatever. We got talking about nude beaches. I probably brought it up. There was a nude beach in California, in Southern California, just north of San Diego. And she said, well, I've been there. Me and my husband, or me and my boyfriend was stationed, he was stationed down there. And we used to go there, she said. And at that time, I said, well, I just showed her, I pulled my phone out and I showed, well, here's where I want to get the tattoo. And I happened to be naked in that picture. And I really didn't think anything of it because she had been there at that beach several times, and I actually didn't think anything of it, and I should have, I guess. I wish I wouldn't have did it now for sure, but I didn't at the time. I didn't think she would think anything of it, truthfully. I mean, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have showed her that picture, but I did, and I wish I wouldn't have. I don't know what to say other than that. I really, if I'd have known I was going to get in trouble for that, or if she was going to take offense to it, I would not have did it. I wouldn't have, really. Sir, I'm just saying it.
All right. I appreciate your thoughts. Anything else that you want to tell me, Mr. Heinitz?
I am a law-abiding citizen, and I'm a patriot. I've never done anything like that ever in my life. I hate liars. I hate thieves. I don't
Where
know.
did you serve, sir? Where did you serve, sir?
I spent 2 tours in Vietnam, 66, 67, 68. I was in the Navy Seabees,
All right.
construction
You've
battalion.
been a law-abiding citizen since then?
Well, yes, I have, sir.
All right.
I did get it. Yes.
I appreciate your service. I accept what you're telling me. Here's my concern. If you didn't think about that ahead of time, that causes me some concern that you may fail to think about it or something similar to that. You may not be able to have the appropriate impulse control. And I'd like to have you talk to somebody about that. So I'm going to give you an option today about how to do that. Mr. Blumberg may want to chime in as to his thoughts on this as well. I can either put you on probation and ask you to talk with a counselor about those things and ask him to give me a report prior to letting you off probation, or I can adjourn sentencing and ask for the same thing and then determine whether or not I need to put you on probation based on the report of the counselor. Mr. Blumberg, do you want a minute to speak with your client?
Well, Judge, I think the latter of the suggestions make sense. While he's certainly interested in getting this resolved today, I know there will be fines and costs regardless if he's placed on probation. Would it be possible for the court to sentence him and pending the letter from the counselor to determine whether probation would be added?
I don't think so. I think I need to say probation. I don't know that I can add. I'd have to change the sentence at a future time, and I'd rather not do that. That's why I gave you the option of not, of adjournment to find out if I need to do that. So I'd prefer not to do that way. If you want to have the letter ahead of time, I'll simply adjourn it for 30 or 45 days, and then you can make your arguments and we'll have it done all at one time. Or I can put him on probation and we can have him, if the letter comes back, he doesn't need any further counseling or doesn't need any further things in the eye of the counselor, we could end probation at that time. But that's the easiest way I think I can think of to do it.
Geez, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm kind of at a loss. I don't know what would be best.
Do you want, we can certainly, you could go off of Zoom at the moment, have a discussion with your client, come back on, and we can retake this matter in a few minutes if you'd like to have that opportunity.
Well, Judge, if I understood the first suggestion is that if you placed him on probation, the probation would be terminated upon the recommendation of the counselor. Did I understand that correctly?
Correct.
Okay, I think that's probably an appropriate way to proceed, given the court's concerns.
All right. My thought process there, Mr. Heinitz, is that you would speak with the counselor, give him all of the information about this case, let him read the police report. Obviously, you would be able to talk to him as well, and then just have him tell you what, if any, treatment program he thinks that you would need. Maybe you don't need any, and that would be fine with me. I just want to make sure that you are going to not do this again, and I don't want there to be anything that you are not aware of that's kind of driving this thing. I'm hoping that this is just a one-time bad judgment thing. But my concern is that you didn't recognize it the first time, and you may not recognize it if it happens similar circumstance in the future. So I simply want you to get some education and some counseling and find out if there is anything that you need to work on. All right. So let's do that. I will proceed with sentence at right now. Is there anything else that you want to bring to my attention, Mr. Blumberg?
No, Judge, I don't believe so.
All right. I'm going to put, I don't know how long the counselor is going to need. It probably would be relatively short. So I'm going to say 90 days of probation. There's a $90 oversight fee for that, crime victim fee of $75, a justice assessment of $50. court costs of $200, a fine of $100, and a local charge of $15. Let me add that up. A total of $530. He may be entitled, if the counseling takes less than the 90 days, you may be entitled to a portion of that reduced because of the oversight fee. All right, I'm going to require him to enroll in and successfully complete treatment or educational programs, counseling, assessment, and follow recommendations. And counseling and probation to cease upon recommendation of the counselor. What was the name of the business that you went to, Mr. Heinitz?
Wasn't it Electric Sun? Was that the name of the place?
I'm pretty sure that was the name of it.
Yeah, I think that's called Electric Sun.
All right, I'm simply going to say you may not associate with the Electric Sun business. That is, you may not go there. That would be over whatever course of probation that there is. Once that is over and done with, you can return to going there if you wish. Have you made an apology in any way to the Electric Sun or the young lady that was there?
They told me they wanted me out of here and don't ever come back. And so I haven't, I wanted to, but I'm not going to go there and tell them.
No, I appreciate that. That was probably the best decision that you made. I would like you to write an apology letter. Mr. Blumberg could review it or assist you with that if you wish. But it should be sent to the Electric Sun business with a copy to the probation department so that we can ensure that you've done that.
I was thinking I should do that, and I didn't, because
That's all right. I appreciate that. It's sometimes awkward and difficult to understand what to do best. And then I am going to ask you to do some community service work. I'm going to impose 20 hours of community service work. And that, I think, helps you understand that you're giving something back to the community. I think it also helps you feel good about yourself because you're doing good things for the community. And I want you to know that you are a proper member of this community and can do things beneficial to it. So you can get permission for wherever you want to go to do that from the probation department ahead of time. Typically, it's at public service agencies or nonprofits, that sort of thing, like the food pantry or the animal shelter, United Way, things like that. I'm not going to require any work camp. And I don't think there are any other requirements. This was not an alcohol related matter, so I'm not going to require anything dealing with the alcohol consumption or bars or anything like that. So anything else, Mr. Blumberg?
Judge, can you just give me the phone number so he can pay his fines and costs?
The payment line is 731-0201.
Okay, we'll take care of that today.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, that's all for today. Good luck to you, Mr. Heinitz.
Yes.